We have two of our favorite comedy pals come on. We asked them to tell two stories. One is the truth and one is the lie. And then Jessica and I will ask questions and try to punch through which one is the lie so that we can figure it out. Jessica, would you please introduce our guests?
Sure. Over here to my left, this is a gentleman. You may see him at the Comedy Store checking IDs and being really cool and getting some stage time. He's originally from San Diego. I'm sure he's done other stuff, but we haven't got to know each other that well. This is Dylan Sullivan.
Welcome to the show, Dylan Sullivan.
Hey, thanks for having me, everybody.
Yay.
It's great to be on here. This is my first time in a podcast studio here. So
Oh,
it feels
you're a
like-
virgin?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, wow.
I feel very important in the chair. It's nice.
Wow.
Yeah, so,
Wow.
hey, everybody.
Well, welcome.
And in front of me, this gentleman has been on Goodfellas. He's
In
also
Goodfellas.
in Goodfellas, right?
No,
You were
he's
on
been
it,
on
too.
some Goodfellas.
And he's also is in Baskets, which I think is amazing, too,
Yeah.
because that's one of my favorite shows. I love
Great.
Zach, too.
Yeah, they were so nice.
It's amazing. And I didn't ask you how to pronounce your last name, so...
Golub.
Golub. Okay.
G-O-L-U-B, Golub.
Bob Golub.
Right. The Jews said Golub. The Polacks said Golub.
I did read that you're a Polak, so
Yeah.
I think that's great.
Yeah.
I think I'm got some Polak in me.
Do you?
Oh, have you?
But enough about last Friday night.
Oh,
Anyway,
hey.
yay. And how about our on-air producer?
Oh, this gentleman just got back from Florida seeing Mr.
Garth Brooks.
baby.
Wow.
Wow.
It was
Yeah.
a religious
Hey.
experience.
He's
In
from
the
Tulsa.
swamp. He is from Tulsa.
That's
I'm from, south of Gainesville, a little bit, Florida, where the Gators play. He played in the Gators stadium, so it was like pretty much a big deal.
Yeah.
Felicia
yeah.
would have loved to have been there. She's a huge fan of
Yeah,
Garth Brooks.
we should have all went.
Yeah.
I can appreciate it to a certain extent. Why not, right? Right?
Jessica and I
No,
like to
get
sing
it.
Garth Brooks to her
Yes.
on
Suppose
road
I
trips.
call you,
In the car.
told you that I love you. Who's that?
Not guard folks.
Not Garth. I do know it, but I can't.
Suppose I called you up, told you
Randy
that.
Travis. I told you so.
Wow.
And Austin
Wow.
Lane Walker.
That's
him.
me.
He knows his music.
Welcome back to the show. You were missed.
Yeah, I missed y'all.
Oh, well, good. So why don't we go ahead?
Good.
Why don't we go ahead and start the show? And I'm so excited, by the way, that you're on the show today
Thank
because
you.
we did roast battle together.
Oh, this is who you roasted?
This is who,
Oh, my
yeah,
God.
and I lost.
You lost to Bob?
I lost to
But it was a
Bob.
great show.
Yeah, it was
Yeah?
a fun show.
was
but
a
I
fun
Do you
show.
lost.
remember the killer joke that
Yeah.
maybe took it away?
I know the killer
What
joke.
was it?
Well, the joke was that Felicia used to be in Penthouse. But the cool thing about Felicia
It was
is...
Playboy, Bob. It was Playboy.
Okay. I said the cool thing about it was that if in her inner thigh she has a tattoo of a seashell, and she let me put my ear to it, and I swear to God I could smell the ocean.
yeah,
It was pretty much over with at that fucking joke.
yeah. And
If someone
actually,
said that was an old joke, I go, motherfucker, that's my joke. I wrote that. I've been doing this shit for fucking 40 years. I don't give a fuck. Tell me it's an old joke.
all right, there. That's why I love you, Bob. That's why I love you. And by the way, I do have a tattoo on my inner thigh, but it says you have to be this big to get on the ride. Sorry, Bob. You don't make the cut. Anyway, so why don't we start?
It's like a little roast battle going right here.
Yeah, there we go. So why don't you go ahead and start us off with one of your stories. What we're going to do is you're going to tell a story, then we're going to go over to Dylan, and then we'll go over to you, and then we'll go to Dylan. Then at the end, we'll wrap it up and try to figure out which one is a lie. Don't be disturbed if Jessica and I ask you a lot of questions. Okay, there you go. So your
Right.
first story.
So I don't know, it's like 90 or 91. I'm coming from D.C. And Clinton, it was his inaugural, his first one. And I'm on the plane, I'm coming back, and I'm sitting next to this woman. And, like, you got 4 hours, like, I talk. It's during the day, wasn't at night. So we start talking to her. She seemed very nice. And finally, she asked me what I do, and I just do stand-up. And I told her that what I always wanted to do, this before I had kids, is that I wanted to start a place where kids could go out in bad neighborhoods and go to a farm and get an animal for a month or two and a plant to grow. And well, no, just
Because you wanted to teach him about death? Why?
nature. No,
No, but I kind of did that because even though I was from North Carolina, we were in the city limits, you know?
Right.
So in the city of Mount Olive, and all of my 4-H group was all black except for me. So we didn't have, we were city, people there, whatever you could call that. And
City folks.
city folks of a small country town.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, but then we would go to Goldsboro.
Townspeople.
Right, and we would train these heifers, and we were these cities kids. It was funny. I got stuck in the manure. It's a good time. It's good for them, I
Right.
think.
You got
Yeah.
stuck in the manure?
Yeah, that is frightening.
How did you get stuck in the manure?
Because if there's enough manure, you just start sinking.
Yeah, you
it's
think-
like quicksand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Quick poop.
I had somebody had to come.
you got to wear those boots.
Somebody had to come pull me out. That was scary.
Oh,
And it has that
really?
sound too.
Yeah.
You've probably heard that sound before.
Not as much as you. Please continue.
So, anyways, I'm talking to this woman, and I really didn't. We didn't talk about what we did or whatever. Finally, she said, well, "What do you do?" I said, I said, "What do you do? You coming from the inaugural?" She said, "Yeah, I went there." So I said, "That's cool." And I said, "I'm coming from a gig." And she goes, "What do you do?" I do stand up, So we started talking, and I was telling her about this thing I wanted to do. I was telling you, I said, "Oh, that's wonderful." And I said, "What do you do?" She goes, "I'm married. I've got this, but I'm divorced." And I was
Were you
married to-
hitting on her?
No, we were just talking, and she said, "I said, what's his?" She said, "His name was." He was a guitar player, and I said, "Oh, really?"
Her
She said-
ex-husband was a guitar player.
Yeah, and she
Okay.
said Jerry Garcia, right? And so we're talking. I go, so about 3 minutes went by. I go, "Wait a minute, did you say Jerry Garcia, like from Grateful Dead?" She goes, "Oh yeah, that was my husband," and we were still friends and all that. And then we got to connect, and she gave me her number and everything. And she asked me to go on to a retreat in Mexico, a mushroom retreat. And so I went down to Mexico. We went down there and for 4 days, was tripping. And then got clean the 5th day and flew back. And I stayed, her name was Carolyn or something. And I kept her number because she turned me on to a guy named Wavy Gravy. Who,
Of course.
I
And
don't
that
know-
was a real. He was like a political. Was he a
right,
political
from
guy?
years ago in the 60s.
Was he in Woodstock?
I think so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Rape. But he also does stuff with kids. So that's why she said, I tried to talk to him, and then I was going to go stay with her at her ranch, But so that's the story,
So that's wow. You know.
So
what?
you didn't go to the retreat?
Oh, I did. Yeah,
No,
we
he
did.
did go.
Yeah,
You
went
did
to-
mushrooms for 4 days.
Yeah. Well, mushrooms for 4 days.
Did you guys have sex?
No.
Yeah.
No.
No?
It wasn't. There's other people.
Uh-huh.
It was a retreat, I guess, with other people. So, No, I didn't hit it. She was.
We call that smashing it now. That's what
okay.
the kids call it
They
now.
call it
Smashing it.
Smashing it.
Yeah. So that was really cool thinking about and oh, by the way, she wrote her number on the back of a card. A friend of mine, who I grew up with, and who died, and I said, "Fuck, I still got his card." So that was her number. So
So now you tell me, okay, so did you have your hair then?
look at my hair.
Did you? Because you told me.
I have fucking hair. It's just on the back side. It's not on the front. I'm not one of these guys that wear hats to cover it either. My hair's just fucked up because I like.
But you
just
told me
woke
in a
up.
story before the podcast started that you started losing your hair in the 80s after you had done some mushrooms and you thought you were tripping.
No. I was doing mushrooms when my hair started falling out. When I lived out in the valley somewhere in '82 or something. The shit started falling out, and I'm like, what the fuck? And I thought I was really like my whole face. When you're
Yeah, you thought-
high.
Is that a thing that your hair falls out on mushrooms? Is that what
That's
you're saying? You
somebody
thought
else
that was
asked.
a thing?
No, I mean, if that was the case, I would have no hair.
Right. How many times have you done mushrooms in your life?
Oh shit.
Is that your favorite thing to do?
Well, I haven't done mushrooms for a while, so mushrooms are really great. Yeah, they're fucking natural. They make you they're fucking yeah.
Was that your worst mushroom experience? Hair falling out?
What, how did the fucking hair come out falling out?
Because you said I took mushrooms and my hair fell out.
No, she asked me when
No,
my
no,
hair
no.
fell
You
out.
said in 1982 you took
Yeah.
mushrooms and your hair started falling out.
No,
so
my hair was I was on mushrooms when I went to I took a shower and I looked, what the fuck's falling out? And chunks of my hair, not the whole hair. I had a little island there. I had a little
love when
island.
people are easy to rile up. I'm sorry.
No, I don't give a shit. No, I don't give a
know you
fuck.
don't.
I don't give a fuck. No, I'm just
If
saying.
we had him and Jimmy Schubert in the same room, this room might explode.
I had a little thing on my head here, and then climate change, it's fucking gone. No, I'm good.
Wow, that's a good opening, cool ass story.
Thanks, man.
So you went on a retreat with Jerry Garcia's ex-wife.
and mushroomed your
Yeah,
ass
but
off.
they still were friends. But you know, they had
Did you
kids.
have
They're
to
like,
pay for the retreat, or was it on her?
on her?
Wow. And you didn't seal the deal?
No, did I bang her? You mean no?
No, we call that smashing it. Remember?
I would have smashed. I'll smash anything. I don't give a shit. I'll smash anything. You know, no, but it wasn't. It wasn't really weird. Like I will normally try to smash anything, but like. I love the vagina. You know, it's just I really do. It's
They
just,
don't call it vagina anymore.
Oh, what is it now?
They call it Half Moon Bay.
Half Moon Bay.
Yeah.
How do you know all this
I
shit?
totally
now?
made that up.
Okay, I have one at the Liars Club. That's right. I didn't think about that.
All right, that's a great first
Yeah.
story. Let's move over on to Dylan.
All right, a little different of a story, but this is a story about how I was a stripper for a night. So years ago, I didn't look like this. I was like, you know, kind of like buff and stuff. I had gone.
I saw the picture of you, I think, with your highlights and all that.
Right. Well, I mean, I didn't have highlights. I think it's just I was like that hot that it seemed like I had a hot.
That you were glowing. That
Yeah,
you were
exactly.
like a halo over your head of hotness.
Yeah, you have to use your
Okay.
imagination for this story. But I was at this gym and I was working out all the time because I was losing this weight. And this trainer had seen me, and I had gone into this gay strip club for my birthday. I'm gay, so I was like, I'm gonna go to the strip club. And I went there, and this guy was like, hey, do you want a job here? And I was like, I don't know. I was like this college kid, so I was like, I'm gonna, you know, try it. I'll try anything once, you know. I don't fucking care, as Bob's saying. But so I did this like dance to get the job, and then
The night of when he asked you?
No,
or
he
did you-
asked me to come in. It was like the next day or something, or like the next couple days. And then
So you went when the club was empty and did a dance, or was it a contest?
Yeah, it was
with people there.
Yeah, it was more empty. It was like a like a daytime thing. But I had to
How
do,
empty was it? Just you and him?
No, it was like 5 or 6 people.
So
something like
his
that.
friends.
Maybe. Yeah, who knows? Hopefully customers. I'm trying to make some
Okay.
tips. No, so I had obviously never like done anything like that before, but they were like, "Oh, it's good money." And so I went I got hired. I got like all these different like underwears, because basically that club was like, you just serve drinks in your underwear, and every once in a while you like dance or whatever.
Okay.
So.
You bought specific underwear to do this?
Yeah.
And what kind of underwear were they?
One was like American flag kind of thing. One was just like a pair of black, and then one was like pink. That was my.
Were
that
they
was my
tight,
muddy
like
underwear.
thong underwear, or what kind of
No,
underwear were they?
The flag one was like compression shorts almost, but like shorter, and then the pink one.
So booty shorts.
Yeah, the pink one. It was this kind of underwear where you like put your nutsack in and it makes your bulge look bigger.
How is that?
where do you get
Wow, where can you get them at?
Look,
Bob perked up.
Austin's ordering them right now on Amazon.
You want me to order some?
Yeah. No, they really.
Can you get it at Target? Right across the street.
They're exclusively at Target. It's a Sonoma brand. No, so then went for my first night, and and I don't know. It was like interesting because I was making all this money, but I was like, oh, this is like too good. You know, I'm gonna do this like forever. But there's this. I was at film school at the time. This was out in Chicago. It was this club called Lucky Horseshoe, and it was the gay strip club in this place called Boys Town, which is like a neighborhood in Chicago. And yeah, so I went, and there was these 2 movie executives that were sitting, and part of the thing was you would have to like flirt with people, you know, while you weren't dancing. So I was going around flirting with these 2 like movie executives, and I remember because they were like, I was like, it was the first time in my life I had felt like a woman in the sense of being like degraded by men. I was because I walked up to them, and they were saying like, they're like, talking how they're movie executives, and I was studying film at the time, right? So I decided to like chime in with like, oh, I would, I
just did a
make
short.
movies. Yeah, I want to make movies one day, but all they saw was this like, oh, I'm gonna make it in Hollywood, some stripper in American flag booty shorts. So that was, and then the pinnacle of my night, the final thing was, it was my first night, and this homeless guy walked in, and he just started pissing in the hallway, just pissing up and down the hallway. And I was the new guy, so they made me mop up this guy's piss
in your American flag underwear.
Yeah, exactly.
They didn't have bus boys or anything that would do
No,
that?
I was the bus boy. That was me.
You weren't the waiter?
No. I was a stripper, but it was like you would go on stage, do your dance, and on your off time.
Did you take your underwear off on stage?
No.
You were just a go-go dancer.
I'm getting a little horny. I'm just going to be honest with you.
Ditto.
Isn't that really what it is? He's a go-go dancer?
Yeah, it's more of a go-go dancer if you didn't take your shorts off.
He did, you little
yeah.
slut.
She's a pro. She knows.
I know. Yeah.
And did you?
yeah.
I don't know about the women's side. I mean,
yeah.
the men's side. I don't know if you know that, but did the women recruit while they were working? If they saw a hot girl and they're like, "Hey, do you want to work here?" Did they do that?
Well,
I was with a girl one time that actually we were at a club, and the girl approached her and said, "Hey, if you ever wanted to work here."
Yeah, I think it's all different. For me, when I was a stripper when I was 18, and for me, I answered an ad in the paper looking for a receptionist or something, or it said, waitress or blah, blah, blah. And then I went to this office building, and it was a legit office building, and it was a very beautiful woman, probably 20 years older than myself, who was, hiring people. But then, wink, wink, she was like, "Oh, you're not old enough to serve drinks. Oh, you don't have any secretarial skills, but you could be a dancer at one of our clubs. We own a bunch of nightclubs, So I got recruited that way, and it was like to do a wet T-shirt contest. I have many questions. Number one question is, when you went to go try out, did you get to pick any music to dance to?
No, they just turned on whatever was on.
So how did you know it was your turn?
No, because I'd gone during the day.
During the day when he
Yeah.
went to go audition.
Right.
And what was your signature money move?
I don't. Well, I didn't really know what I was. I didn't know what I was doing. I think I looked.
Well,
awkward
instinctively,
over there.
you knew
I
just
would,
bend over, or because that's what you do. That's pretty much all across the board.
Yeah, it's universal. So
Yeah.
yeah. No, I don't. Just hump the stage and try to look hot, but then it's
Can you look all of us in the eye right now with your hottest "I'm so fucking sexy" look right
Okay.
now?
Or would you
But
just
imagine-
hump
Please start with
But
Austin.
imagine it. I'm chiseled.
No, we totally get it.
Well, yeah,
and
yeah.
you're a cutie pie. Yeah, we're in.
Okay,
We're in.
so hair's kind of probably I've been at it all night. I'm getting sweaty. I go it's kind of intense.
I mean,
That's my signature.
one
And you
more
say
time.
you only lasted one night?
Yeah, I don't know why. I don't know why.
Now I don't understand. Do the hair again. What was
One more
the?
time for us,
You gotta
please.
you gotta go like this, and then you kind of keep your mouth open a
Alright.
little bit. I don't know. Oh, is this
Can you chew on your bottom lip? Do it and chew on your.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I got the move. I don't want to switch people. That's not what I'm here to do.
What was
I'm
that
too
movie
good
where the
at
guy
that.
blew his head off with the orange in the service?
Wow.
What?
Full Metal Jacket?
Full Metal Jacket.
Oh.
Oh, Vincent D'Onofrio.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah,
There you go.
yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I used to have a huge crush on Vincent D'Onofrio.
Good actor.
Ah, yeah, he is. He's an amazing
Great.
actor. That's a great first story. All right, so we've done our first round of stories. Does anybody have any questions? Bob, you're allowed to ask questions.
Oh, I didn't know that.
About his story, and Dylan, you're allowed to ask questions about his story too. So,
That was the end of your story, right?
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
the end.
and I do have one more question about that that I remember. I just wanted to ask: when they tipped you, how did they tip you?
They put it in your underwear, your jock
Yeah.
strap or whatever.
Your jock strap. So you wore jock strap and underwear?
Well, no, the pink one was more of a It was more jockstrap. It was like shorter, and it had that bulge thing I was talking to you about.
Did it go up your booty like?
Gotta get some.
No,
of
no. I had
Or
like
around your
my ass
cheeks?
covered. It was just like mainly in the sides or in like the front.
So what did you get? Like, never was there any change? And then put in
Yeah,
there?
a lot of nickels.
Lot
Be
of nickels.
surprised.
Yeah.
no, it's dollar bills.
Did you? What's the biggest tip you ever got?
Well, that night I made probably like over
It was only one night.
like 300. It was like 300.
You
night.
made
Wow.
$300
Yeah, yeah.
and you quit?
Yeah, well, because
Why?
I knew it was too good. Like I would do it forever.
Free. You would do it free, basically.
No, that's the thing is
Well,
though.
no, for money. That's the
the thing about stripping though, this is what fucks you in stripping is that when you strip and you get money, you know in your heart that it's done. It's not done in a constructive way how you're getting that money because you are
Sure,
selling a piece
right.
of yourself and it does take from you. That's why you should never be a stripper longer than it takes to get a college degree.
Yeah.
That's number one rule. in
Well, are we
stripping.
talking like med school, like 8 years? Or
Whatever you gotta do.
My middle school teacher even told me, it was a high school teacher, and she even told me that because I had told her about it. She's like, oh, you're in college, just do it and then get out.
Yeah.
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 I want to go back to the quitting. Why, after one day, you would quit knowing you can make that money?
Well, he was saying because he.
I heard what you said, but say it again.
Yeah.
Say it again.
It was basically just I knew it was too good of a deal.
Too good of a
and-
deal. So it was too easy to make the money. You say, I'm not going to do this because this is too easy.
right, because he would
Too
keep doing it
easy.
for the rest of his
and
life.
I was doing
it's like smoking crack for the first
Yeah,
time.
but I know. But
I
I'm
was
just
doing
saying.
like film school at the time, but I didn't feel as comfortable with it for some reason.
Well, that's what I was getting at is and when I was a stripper, what is destructive about it, because you are selling a piece of yourself to make money, is then what happens is you get in this weird cycle, and I'm not talking about this as everybody, where the money has to go. You got it in an ill-gotten way. It has to go. It has to go. So that's why sometimes people, spend it on drugs and girls for outfits, or
Why do you
to
think that
generalize
is
it. I think it is because you got it in a dishonest way to your soul. That was my experience.
I don't find that to be
and
true.
I think,
I mean, for you, yeah.
But I think that when talking with other women that have done that in their life, it kind of rings true. Not everybody is like that. Everyone has a different morality, and morality in some sense does not even play in it, but you just want to get rid of it. You just want to
All
get rid of
cash,
it.
easy.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
what'd you
yeah.
do? Did you get rid of that 300?
Yeah, like pretty like.
What'd you spend it on?
I don't know exactly what I spent.
But
I
you
usually
want to
just,
get you had to
like,
get that out of
food
your
or,
system, right?
You had
to get
going
that out.
drinking,
Yeah.
whatever.
You know what I spent my first money on when I made as a stripper? Because it was the 80s, a sweet-ass pair of fingerless lace gloves.
Oh, shit.
Those didn't cost $300, did they?
They might have cost $25, $30. But still, that's a lot of money.
Did you use them on stage? I bet that looked
Fuck,
cool.
yeah, I used them on stage.
Yeah.
I was jazz hands before jazz hands,
She's got the leather
but
gloves.
closer to my vagina.
Like a virgin.
Yeah.
Do you think the leather gloves
what I
got
was
you more
thinking of.
tips by the end of the night?
I don't know.
Could have been an
I think
investment,
I never made as much money as everybody else because I'm not sexy in that kind of way. Like
Did
I don't
did you
think
have
that's
to
true.
drink or anything to do it?
oh yeah.
What?
To get the nerve to dance and work
Yeah.
that night? Did you drink?
Yeah, the bartender gave me some shots and stuff.
But they did.
Yeah, they did.
All right.
So
good,
can
first
I ask
story.
anything besides that? Did you get laid that night, or what's it called, smash it?
No. In fact, I got rejected by a bachelorette at a bachelorette party. She was like, "No thanks, I don't want to dance," and then she sent me out.
Oh,
I know, boo.
feel bad about that.
Yeah.
All right.
Wait, I'm confused. So, but you were stripping at a gay bar, but there was a
Yeah.
bachelorette party at the gay.
Yeah, because it was
Because
like
girls
the
go to gay
bar.
clubs.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
they-
so you
I don't
hit
know
on
about bachelorette party.
hit on someone from the bachelorette.
Yeah, I wasn't good at hitting on girls, so she just wasn't feeling it.
Oh, were you bi at the time?
No, I'm. Been
He was
all
just
gay.
trying to give her a dance.
Oh,
Yeah.
you were trying to give her a dance, and she was
Yeah.
like, whatever.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
okay.
So I had to cut my losses.
Well, let's move on to your second story. By the way, I want to say quickly, we are live on YouTube, and if you guys have any questions, write them down. Austin is manning the YouTube board, and he will relay it to us. Has there been any people on the YouTube channel there, Austin?
Just Bob Blow.
Oh, we're on YouTube today?
Yes. Anyway, your turn.
Oh, so I'm in prison, and I was at this brand new prison. I was a 91th inmate.
Where was this at, Bob?
It was in Mercer County, PA. North.
You spent some time in prison, right?
Yeah, well, I was going to get to that.
Okay, I'm sorry.
So it was.
Because I know a lot about Bob because I researched him for Roast Battle.
So anyways, so I'm in prison, and I was a 91th inmate, and my number was Z0091, like a radio station, like, hey, this is Z91, right? And so, what do you do? You know, I'm just coming off detox and kind of, you know, and I was sold a lot of drugs, so my head's being cleared, and I said, well, why don't we start boxing? You know, start a boxing thing here at the prison because it's a brand new prison. So,
Bob was a big boxer at that was his thing you started with was boxing and was, right?
I was a wrestler. And then
Oh, I thought you were a boxer.
Well, I wrestled in high school, then I boxed.
Okay.
So wrestled, boxed. And so we started we started a boxing thing to fight other inmates. And so,
I only thought that happened in the movies.
what's that?
That you would get to like have a boxing club in the prison.
Well, they might, no, back, we started it. We started
Did you have a ring?
Yeah, we had a ring.
Was it a homemade ring or they?
No, it
or-
was a professional. It was like
Yeah.
I mean, I fought before I went in a little bit, like in amateurs and stuff. But it was a half decent ring.
Mm-hmm.
But so I would go and fight these other inmates. But what happened was this guy came in, and because our place was new, they called it the country club. So this guy that came in, he just did 20 years for armed robbery. But he's where I grew up, so we kind of bonded a little bit. This black dude, right? But Manny Valina was training me. So this dude. This guy, I can't remember his name. I remember he had a silver tooth. That's all. He goes, hey, man, I'm going to show you how to box. I said, no, I'm good. And so he would start trying to teach me how to fight, right? And I said, I don't want to, leave me alone, right? So I went and fought a guy in Western Penitentiary.
Go ahead.
Came back, and I won the first thing. And I had a trophy. Our first trophy in prison I won, you know. And so this guy kept giving me a hard time. He says, no, I want to teach you how to fight good. So now we're out in the yard one day. And I wrestled 88 pounds and 91 pounds. So I wasn't that big, but in prison, I was a couple years out of, so I was probably like 135. This guy was about 240. And I said, I could take anyone down to prison. He said, yeah, you can take me down. I said, watch. So I'm fast. I was able to take his leg out, take him down 3 or 4 times. And all his brothers going, yo, man, you let that boy, yeah. And he's like, he's got a little serious then. And he come at me again. I took him down again. It's real quick. So he starts fucking getting mad. He goes, yeah, well, motherfucker, can I say that?
Yeah.
Oh. Hey, motherfucker, man, why don't we fight why don't we just go in the ring and fight? and I go, I said, Manny goes, okay, he'll fight you, but you got to wear 16-ounce gloves, and he wears bag gloves. And I said, well, man, what's this? No, I got this. No, you don't got it. I got to fight this fuck. I got you. So the word got out that there might be a problem. So the guy who well, go ahead.
Okay. Can bag gloves or what?
Bag gloves. They're very light.
Okay.
So he would have 16-ounce gloves. He was 240.
Right. So it'd make him a little bit slower to swing.
Well,
or?
it wouldn't hit me as hard either. This guy
Right.
was huge.
Right.
And then, so the gloves are big, and I would wear bag gloves, short. That was Manny's rules. I said, Manny, I still got to fight the guy. This guy actually fought before. I'm 135 pounds. This guy like 220, right? So, but the prison people found out, and then they weren't going to let us do it. And I told Tim, I said, look, let me get this out of the way because this ain't going to let me go. So I went in, and he wasn't in great shape, but he wasn't, still. And I had the gloves, and I hit him straight, and he literally above his balls, right underneath his. I didn't hit him in the balls, but like in between, right the belly section there.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not a big boxing watcher, but isn't that like a foul?
No, he fucking said it was a foul. And I didn't hit him in the balls. That's what I'm saying. I didn't hit him in the balls. I hit
No
him.
foul. I didn't hit you in
I
the
hit him
balls.
above the balls, and he bent over. And his, oh man, that little white boy did that shit to you. He goes, all right, motherfucker, you hit me low. I said, I didn't hit you low. And he got up and he starts pulling his gloves off. Let's go bare knuckles. And fuck this shit, man. Because I got 6. I'm getting out in 3 months, I think, right? I don't want it. I said, fuck this. Now I'm done, right? So I went to the warden because they liked me there because I won some trophies for them, right? I was the first guy. Right. So I said, look, man, I want to get out of here. This guy, we're going to have a problem. So I don't know what to do here. So he said, I don't know what to do because I've never, it's not like you're getting fucked in prison. That really doesn't happen. I mean, a couple times, but not where I was at, I mean, but you don't know. What do I know? I'm 19 years old, 20 years old. I think 20. So what happened was he kept fucking with me. I'm going to get you, motherfucker. Because I remember he had that silver tooth. I'm going to get you, motherfucker. So, okay, and now we're in barracks, so there's different barracks, right? And so there's 1,000 people, 100 in the barracks. I said to the guy, why don't you just get me out and put me, so I said to the superintendent or the warden, why don't you put me in another barracks? He goes, we're packed. So I go to take a shower. I see him. I film him and he comes underneath my ass and grabs my balls. Not that he wanted to fuck me or anything, but he wanted to fuck with me. And I turned around, grabbed him by his neck, and bit him in his face, and bit a piece out of his face and spit it on the ground. He was screaming when I was holding him. The guards pulled us off. They took him down to Western Penitentiary, which was the maximum security prison, and they didn't do anything to me. I ended up getting out. So
Really?
yeah, because I went to the guy and I said, look, I'm having this problem, and you can't fucking move me. And and I was alone. It was like some out of a movie, like you're in a movie. I'm in the shower, and I said, oh, fuck.
Can I ask you something?
Yeah.
Because I do know in prison that it's very racial, and you get separated by the races. You also get separated if you're gay. If you're a pedophile, there's different barracks for different people that they keep, right? Was it kind of dumb of you to fight a black guy?
No. I'll fight anybody. I don't give a fuck.
What year was it?
No, by the way. No. I'll fight Joe Rogan. Fuck him.
Oh,
How about that? I'll fucking kick his ass, too.
No, I don't think that's smart.
No, do it, Bob.
I agree with Dylan. I'm gonna
No, but I'm
at
not
Joe
afraid.
Rogan.
I'm not afraid of him. I'm not afraid of him.
Right.
I mean, if Joe Rogan has 4 or 5 weapons. Okay, I only have 2. So,
what?
he could kick. He could do all kinds of
yeah,
shit.
yeah.
I mean, he could fucking kick your head off.
Oh, he
but
can
in a
headbutt you
street
to
fight,
death.
I'll fight anybody.
Right.
don't
Oh,
give a
so you're
fuck.
you're backtracking now.
Okay.
Okay.
So, no. So
Now that I threw that, I'm gonna at Joe Rogan. You're like, well, what I'm saying is he's masterful at very many tricks.
I mean, he got a lot of fucking weapons. I got 2.
Fair enough.
I'll take one. Take one. Whatever.
No,
one you
I
want.
know that if this story's true, you have 3: your hands and your mouth, your teeth.
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
That's right.
So let me ask you this: what did it take? Did you taste his blood on his face?
That's really. I really
Did
don't
you
remember.
see the groove marks of your teeth?
No, I'm gonna tell you what it was. The adrenaline of 2 things going. A, is this guy's big enough to fucking hurt me, and 2, second of all, I didn't know. I don't remember anything. I just remember I turned around and I put him in a thing where I got his face and I started biting. I took him to the ground and I kept holding him. He's screaming. And that's when the guards came in, and they
Now you said you spit out a piece of his cheek.
You're fucking right.
Yeah. How big of a piece was it? Like a nickel size, dime, quarter?
Well, you're trying to play games here, so.
No. I'm completely serious.
I don't, honest to God, know.
Yeah,
I can
yeah.
tell you this, that when I bit him in his face, you understand, you got to do something. You're afraid. I don't know. Like, again, I don't know what was. I know when he reached around and did that, he wasn't trying to, he was just fucking with me. But I don't like anyone.
Well, he wanted to hit you below the belt too.
Well, yeah, but he went underneath my ass, and like I'm standing there, and I oh,
wanted
what
to
the
scare
fuck was
the
that?
shit out of you.
It's fucking right. Yeah, so I don't know what's going on, so I just fucking bit him in his face.
You know what's interesting about Bob is Bob's an amazing actor besides being a very fine comedian. And every time he does the character of the other guy, he subconsciously grabs his penis and does the character. And I'm all like, is that an acting thing or is he reliving that moment?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, or he
I do
needs to
grab
take
myself.
a shower. I don't know what's going
no,
on.
I do grab myself. Actually, when I did Goodfellas, when I came in, I went like that. I grabbed myself and curled my tongue. My dad does that.
Uh-huh.
He grabs himself a lot when he talks. My
Yeah.
whole family, they fall asleep with their hands in their pants, and we all grab ourselves.
Right.
Even
You
my
talk
sisters.
with your balls.
Talk about even my sisters. They go like this all the time. I swear to God. I swear to God, when they talk, they'll go like this.
Yeah, and you're mad at me for burping in public.
Well, yeah, because if we're hanging out, she's all like, "Bleh." I'm all like, fuck, dude, be a lady. Be a lady. Breathe the
kid's a
other way.
delicate
Cover your
flower.
mouth. Cover your mouth. It's like I have a kid. Any questions there, Austin, from...
No questions, but we do. Le does think that your stripper story is fake and your fight story is real, but Le hasn't heard the second story of.
All right. Well, thank
Oh,
you for
yeah.
playing
Dylan Jet, so-
along. Thank you for playing along.
Yeah, thanks for.
Well, let's move it on to Dylan's second story. Great first story, second story there, Bob.
Oh, okay. This is a story about how my cousin and I got robbed trying to get her an abortion.
That's a great log line.
yeah,
Jesus.
yeah.
But continue.
Yeah. So she's like 15 at the time. I'm 2 years younger than her. So
You were
the-
13 and she
yeah,
was
it was
15?
like she's like 2.5 years older than me.
Uh-huh.
But her whole thing is like she comes to me, tells me about it, and then it's like in Colorado because that's where I grew up. It was,
Oh, we're in Colorado.
Aurora, Colorado.
Oh,
That's where.
yeah, I grew up in a lot in Fountain, Colorado. Outside Colorado Springs.
Oh, cool. Yeah, not too far.
Yeah.
They so at the time in Colorado, you had to have a parent with you for like a Planned Parenthood thing. And we grew up Catholic, religious.
What year is this?
2010. No, this was when I was younger, so it was like 2008.
You had to have a parent with you?
Yeah, I went
yeah.
to the health department all the time as a kid by myself, and
Yeah.
got STD checks and.
No, I mean she
Birth
had
control.
to get
As most 12-year-olds are wont to. Like, what was
right,
that?
right. So
Jessica was also sleeping with her cousin, so cut her a break, please.
Third cousin.
Yeah. No, so the plan was to get an abortion, and there's this girl at her school who had gotten one, or her friend had gotten one, something that would get us in touch with this woman who did it out of her apartment. So the plan was,
No.
yeah, no shit.
It was first floor, second floor,
What?
the apartment.
The apartment? I think it was first floor.
Okay.
Yes, it was first floor, because it was over on. You remember like Colfax? It was near Colfax.
Where in Colorado?
And it's right outside Denver.
Rodriguez
like
sung that.
Yeah, it was Colfax. It's kind of like at the time was like a shittier, like part of town where all the shit went down.
Why were you going to a woman's?
But she didn't want her parents to find out.
Oh, so she
Yeah.
went to a
I
like a
live right
street
by
abortion?
My aunt and uncle from this girl that she had known through school knew about her or something.
And you were 13.
And the Plan B
no,
pill wasn't out then?
I don't know.
Plan B should have been out by then, right? In 08?
Yeah, because yeah.
I think it was something where she couldn't
Right,
get.
choir boy.
Someone edited themselves on that comment.
Yeah.
Hope no one from the church is watching there.
Tune in.
God bless y'all.
Okay.
God bless you.
No, but it was like, so we ended up going to this woman who is in this super shady place, and we went in. And there was two guys with her at this table, and they just like looked shady, but we didn't really question it because we didn't know what the fuck we were doing. I had worked at Chick-fil-A that last.
Don't brag.
Yeah. I worked at Chick-fil-A that last summer, and I made like $200, and the whole thing was $500. So she had to get $300, I had to get $200. And so we go to this woman, and there's these guys in the room. And after we walk in, one of the guys stands up and locks the door behind us. And we're fucking scared shitless, so we didn't know what to do. And this woman just basically says, put the money on the table, and then you guys can leave. And we did, and we left.
Can I ask you a question? How did she get pregnated?
By
What
the-
do you call her? Smash it? Who
Who smashed her?
Who was the
it
dad?
was her like high school fling boyfriend.
What was his name?
It was Steven.
Yeah.
I have many questions about your story. You said that you were 13, but that you were working at Chick-fil-A?
Yeah.
That you were able to save $200? What's that about, Dylan?
I worked Chick-fil-A doing like washing tables stuff.
Can I ask
like
you a
Yeah.
question? Did you
They have
work?
after school.
Did you work Sundays at Chick-fil-A?
No. No.
Why?
Because Sundays, yeah,
They're all closed.
They're all closed.
Yeah, but why?
Because the Truett Cafe, who's the owner, wanted. They say it's religious reasons, but the reason he puts it in the pamphlet is that they get a day off because he figured that if people were working 6 out of 7 days of the week, they'd have more productive weeks. But then it was also convenient because church was on Sunday and he's religious.
Okay.
Wow.
So I got a little lost in the story. So you guys went there. You put the money on the table. She said, "Go away and come back," or did they?
just
No,
took the money.
implying like leave, keep the money there and leave, or else we're gonna fuck you up.
Oh, so it wasn't. So she didn't get an abortion.
No,
Did she have the baby?
no, she had to tell her parents, my aunt and uncle. Yeah.
Well, what happened to the baby?
She got an abortion, through
But
them.
not there.
Not there.
The
Through
friend set her up to get.
Apparently, it was like this person that she had known through a person, and so we just went there unknowingly, kind
Like
of.
people
thing.
are saying type of thing. People are saying, like Trump says that people are saying,
Yeah.
I'm just
People are
wondering who
saying
knows.
you can get one over here.
yeah,
Right.
right. So people are
At
saying,
this complex.
Wow.
When really it's just a room with two guys that will fuck you.
Now,
up
I
if you
will
don't.
tell you that
She
Felicia
will.
knows this. I'm a connoisseur of the
The
ranch.
what?
I was like, a fine abortion? It's like, where does that sentence go? Where does that sentence go?
Just
I
one of
also
my
don't-
hobbies. That's my side gig.
I also don't think there's a D in connoisseur, but
I'm a big fan of the show The Ranch
Yeah, oh
on
my God.
Netflix, right?
We went
The
up to New
Ranch?
York. The Ranch is this horrible fucking show starring
now,
Ashton Kutcher.
Felicia,
It's-
if they offered you a guest role, I've never seen it, but you would be on it in a
I
heartbeat.
would
If,
totally
if
do
Sam
it in a
Elliott was like,
heartbeat.
"You want to come play my daughter?"
I would
or
be all
something?"
over Sam Elliott.
yeah.
In a
oh, I love
heartbeat.
this show so much. To love the ranch.
I know.
What's
Well, I
the
would totally
show?
do that. Just, I'm allowed to have an honest opinion and backtrack should work and money be involved, okay? Just so we all know. I think we're all of that tribe right
Yep,
here.
absolutely.
But
Right.
she would make us watch it in New York City. It's the worst. They have like the worst laugh track. You know what I read that all laugh tracks that we use were made in like 1950 or something.
Oh my
Yeah.
God,
like
really?
most of the people are
Yes.
dead that you
Yeah,
that's right, they're-
laughing.
So
That's right,
that
dead people.
Fake
Yeah.
candle-
It says that it's recorded in front of a live audience.
well,
Well,
that,
it was in 1957.
1948.
it's the anyway. Tell your story about that horrible show.
So that is set in Denver.
That's set in Denver.
Yes.
I thought it was outside of Denver, like way outside
like
in the
mountains,
country.
yeah, or
In the
something.
It was in the
mountains.
country, but it says Denver. Like there was a sign. It's not close. It's close to Denver. It's in Colorado. It's very close to
Okay.
Denver.
Yeah, okay. The questions come back to you too. It's not just there's two sides to this table, Jessica.
I'm just
How
saying-
close were they to Denver?
I'm saying that it's just hard to believe, especially with Denver being that close. Even if I was at the ranch, right? That
Sorry, go.
Please continue.
that I couldn't travel somewhere. And also, Ashton gets his lady pregnant. Two of them, and one of them got an abortion just fine.
Yeah, but was she 15?
Yeah, I'm not gonna look. I don't mean to throw all my childhood friends under the buses, but I've been to abortion clinics in Colorado as a teenager, and no one was asking for anybody's parents' signature. But maybe
Maybe something got
2008.
passed.
But maybe something got passed because Colorado is a very
Right.
Christian state, number one. Number two, maybe because she was under 15, maybe it was a certain age, like 16 and up.
And I will say, I know I've watched a lot of things that in Texas, they're making it harder and harder for people to, have abortion clinics so that they're getting pushed further and further away. Like they're putting ridiculous regulations on them.
Right,
So it's
right.
harder. They're further and further away, and it's harder for people to get to them.
But my biggest problem with your story is being 13 and working at a chain
Chick-fil-A.
restaurant.
Yeah.
Because I
Yeah.
remember in the little town of Fountain, Colorado, when I was like 13, 14 years old, there was a Sonic drive-through burger stand, and I wanted a job there so bad because there's hardly any other places to work there.
They got good
and
ice.
I had to
They
wait
do.
till and don't they have great tater tots too?
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
What
So I
was
had to
the
wait
age
till
for you, 15?
I had to wait till I was 16 to have a job.
Oh no, it was
Yeah.
way earlier in Colorado.
And we did have Luke Lee Syed on here before, remember? And he did get a job at CVS or what it was at 15. So we'll give him that.
Yeah, the
Oh,
code.
but you have to
Code-
have like now for my. I'm sorry to interrupt you, Bob, but my son tried to get a job under the even at 16, and he had to get permission from the school.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the state of California. Yeah, so I'm very suspect about because you're not that old. I'm very suspect about
It
your
was
story.
flipping signs for a Chick-fil-A thing. So
Oh,
I don't know
now
if
it's
that's-
changed.
Oh, wait a minute.
huh?
No, it's
You
never
just said
changed
you were
my-
cleaning
Did you flip
tables
those signs
earlier.
on
You did
Sunday?
say you were cleaning tables.
did.
On Sunday.
Dude, seriously.
Oh, okay. We don't need to hear anymore.
All right.
All right. All right. So
It was the Chick-fil-A that didn't.
no, don't admit anything. Don't admit anything. We're gonna have Austin go through the stories very quickly, so because sometimes when you tell a couple of stories, you kind of lose track of things. And we would like to say, since we're talking about these kind of subject matters, that anything told and shared here today is not a reflection on the Comedy Store.
And
at
we
all.
don't want to fight Joe Rogan.
Yes,
But
Whoa.
Bob does.
I know.
Anytime. I'm not afraid of him.
Oh,
say
now you're
Joe
back
Ro-
on it. Now
You
you're back
just
on it.
you just get 2-3 of those weapons away, Joe Rogan. Bob's
Yeah.
gonna fight.
Yeah.
I mean, a straight
Just
boxing
no,
match. Straight
no
boxing
kicks.
match.
Yeah.
Maybe we should tape Joe Rogan's knees together,
Yeah, that would be nice.
and then you two could fight.
That would help.
Well, I'm waiting for maybe he gets in a wheelchair or something.
Okay. So, Austin, what do you got over there?
Well, just as an update, Leah thinks she's wrong for sure.
Okay.
Well, she's very insightful. You know?
Yeah. So to recap, we'll start with Bob's story
Okay.
one. It's 90-91. Clinton's inaugural first one was the exact words he used. He met Jerry Garcia's ex and told her he wanted to make a bad kid farm. And she said, okay, let's do mushrooms in Mexico with wavy gravy. And he didn't hit it.
Yeah, that one might be bullshit. That one might be bullshit. We're not judging now. But,
Okay.
Okay.
There's a lot of name drops and weird little facts in that.
yeah.
Okay.
Story two. Now, I'm going to preface this by saying he was much more intense in telling this story. I mean, eyes wide, like really
Right,
trying to
yeah,
stare down your
yeah,
soul.
yeah.
This is the first day I've met Bob, so I don't know. It could just be his natural presence. But he was at this brand new prison, and
Manny Valino.
Manny Valino was training him to be a natural born.
Wait. What was the second name?
Manny Valino.
Oh, I thought you said his second name was different.
No, that was it.
Molino.
No, the guy who was trying to, mess with me. I can't remember his name. He had a silver tooth.
Okay.
So I remember.
Okay.
So Manny Valino.
Manny Valino.
Valino is training him to be a natural-born 135-pound killer, and he beat the crap out of this big MFer man. The prison guards found out, and then they grabbed Bob by his balls, and Bob bit a chunk out of the guy's face.
When he grabbed you by the balls, did he twist them? How hard did he squeeze them?
It was more just like, you know how like people are like.
Well, you'd seen Bob grab his own balls so many times, it was like he must be into that.
It's a family thing.
I didn't know if it was his hand or mine. No, but he just reached on there and grabbed him a little bit. I turned around and
Was it
maybe-
like, ha ha, you're...
Yeah,
or was
yeah.
it like, "Rrr"?
No, it was like ha ha. You fuck,
Yeah.
yeah. It wasn't like hard. It was enough just to
Like, guess
like
what?
you little bitch. Yeah. And then
Oh, to embarrass you and intimidate you.
made a
Okay.
bad mistake.
Okay. Continue, Austin.
So going over to Dylan's story one, he once didn't look like he currently does. He was so hot.
That's just a funny way of putting it.
I've always been fat, so I wish I knew what that was even like. He once didn't look like he currently does. He was so hot, it looked like he had highlights. He didn't. There was just
Right.
natural-born hotness.
Uh-huh.
He's gay, and this guy asked him to come to a club and dance for his buddies in the daylight.
Yeah, where'd you meet that guy?
I think it was at a. It was on my birthday. I'd gone to the strip club on my birthday.
Have you ever seen The Birdcage with Robin Williams? And
Yes,
I picture it to
I
be
love that
right
movie.
outside of the
Great.
Birdcage
Great.
in broad daylight as he was just walking down, and the guy was like, "Hey, come on inside." Is how it goes in my head. But
Try not to share that anymore.
he got a lot of different underwears, and he felt degraded like a woman as he humped the stage. Now, I thought that was totally unbelievable until I heard that his cousin and him got robbed while she was having a shmashmortion. She was 15. It shouldn't have been banging anyway, and he was 13, supposedly working at Chick-fil-A the summer before. And I happen to know that they are good Christians and also don't employ minors or shmashmorters.
Or people that are adjacent to shmashmorters.
Right. They're pro-life. Pro-life. And they get their money together to go get this backdoor shmashmortion. And the lady said, leave the money or we'll have my boys mess y'all up. So they left, and she shmashmorted the baby elsewhere.
Yeah. Hey, is there anyone that's pro-death, by the way?
Well, actually, I think Felicia has been noted in the past as saying that, right?
That what?
Pro-death?
What do you mean?
Like some people should just die?
No, but,
Some people should just.
no, I'm with you there. But I'm saying it's when I hear always about pro-life, who's actually pro-death? I mean, really.
No one is pro-death.
You know what I'm saying? It's like-
Psychopaths, maybe.
Yeah.
All right, so let's. We're gonna take a vote. We are gonna take a vote. Austin, I think we know when it comes to Dylan.
I'm gonna call bullshit on the Chick-fil-A story.
Who believes that Dylan was lying about the Chick-fil-A abortion story?
I mean, it was the 13-year-old thing.
But
What did Brett say?
I did work at Chick-fil-A. Just it was when I was like older.
No shit. No shit.
God damn
You
it.
had to add 3 years on there at least. 13.
Wow.
I would have never believed you were a stripper. So if you hadn't added the
I
13-year-old
know.
thing, like
Damn,
I
I should have
totally.
said lemonade stand.
Yeah, but he's got the look.
Yeah, didn't you see that look he gave you? That
Oh
turned
yeah,
me
no,
on.
I did.
Yeah.
It's on our Twitter. That is at Liars Club 1. You can go and see the sexy look.
Okay, wonderful,
Watch
wonderful.
out.
Well, I have to tell you that there was 2 people that when we were doing the podcast, I thought were the worst fucking liars on the planet Earth.
Oh, God.
And now you have taken that fucking even more than Lucas
But we
Hurl,
love
right?
that you tried.
Yes, we love that you tried.
Yeah, man.
Is that
Yeah.
one detail? Shit. If I had said lemonade stand, could that have been like a reasonable story?
$200 at a little lemonade
Yeah.
stand
Yeah.
you put together
Yeah.
yourself.
In
I've stolen
Colorado,
the
where
money or
lemons
something.
are
Unless
at
it's
a
a gay
premium.
neighborhood. Yeah.
You know so much about Colorado. Damn it.
All right,
Leah
so-
said she's going with her gut next time and just flipping her answer
Yeah,
immediately as soon as she comes
Thank
to a
you for
decision.
playing along, but now let's find out about Bob. So, what do we think about Bob's first story? What do you think about that?
Well, I will
Jessica?
tell you that the recap made it sound ridiculous.
I know.
Yeah.
When you did the recap, it was like, oh yeah, that sounds crazy. Why would that happen? There is so many weird names too to drop.
And what year was the prison thing? I might have asked already. but
79.
just 79?
And aren't
1979.
mushrooms like that's see, I've never done I maybe chewed like a half a mushroom once, and I've never done ecstasy, but isn't it great to do? From what people tell me, is it mushrooms that make it fun during sex?
No, that's ecstasy.
That's ecstasy, yeah.
But mushrooms, you see all the lights and stuff.
Yeah, no,
like that.
mushrooms are actually, some people should do them every so often to create their minds. It's all natural anyways.
Yeah, yeah.
It's hard getting it out of the college shit. That's the
Does
problem.
anybody have any last questions before we vote on Bob's stories?
I'm torn
Yeah, why?
because the first story just seems so strange that a woman would invite you. Seem lovely today, Bob, but I wouldn't invite you off a plane somewhere if I didn't know you.
Right.
You know what I
Right.
mean?
I don't know. He's
Yeah.
very personable, and I have met some people on planes.
He's very personable,
But then take him to a
as
retreat.
a woman sitting on a
Well, they
plane
didn't
next to
immediately go on a
Bob,
retreat.
you
Well,
we
know
had 5
immediately this motherfucker's been in fights in prison.
What is that? I mean, hold up.
That's so funny. Because when he said you took that chunk out of the guy's cheek, I didn't even like blink twice about it. I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, how many times do you think you grabbed your balls talking to this lady?
Oh, shit. I have no idea.
They were tender after.
I will tell you something. This is the God's truth. When I was getting married, Al Martin, you know Al, right? They came to my wedding, and they took a bet that when I was walking down, that I would grab my balls because I was walking down the aisle, and Al
And
bet.
you did.
I did. I didn't, but I didn't know. I didn't know. Al won $20.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. But we would like you to keep your hands on top of the table now. So who thinks that Bob's first story is the truth about the airplane and Jerry Garcia's widow? How many people think that story is true?
I kind of lean to think that one might be a little bit true because
Really?
only because I think he said
Because
that.
it's so obvious that we would think that the fighting part was true.
Well,
I know that because I did research him for roast battle. I know he was in prison. I know he did do boxing. And I think didn't you win some kind of, was it in prison that you won something?
I
You
won them all,
Yeah.
except one.
Yeah. So,
but it seems to me like to only be in prison for a year. I mean, like if you're already in prison and you get in a fight and bite somebody's face or bite a chunk out of somebody's face, I would think even if that was in self-defense, they're probably gonna be like, he bit a chunk out of somebody's face. We might have to lock him up a little
You're right.
longer.
Damn it.
I don't know because I'm also on the fence about. There's so many name drops in the first one. Usually that's for me like a.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with my gut, and I'm gonna say that the retreat mushroom Jerry Garcia is a lie.
Leah thinks that she thinks the fight was real, so I'm gonna go definitely against that and say the first one was real.
I know, I want to say that, but I also know that Bob here is very crafty, and I think that he would know that I would know about the boxing thing and all that. So I think that it's true about the boxing and all that in prison, but I think you're taking someone else's story about the shower and getting bit in the face, and I think weirdly you probably did meet some chick that was with Jerry Garcia, who wasn't the most physically in shape fella, and she was probably looking at you with hungry eyes.
That was a while ago, too.
Yeah.
I like all the 80s songs we
I
dropped.
know. So I'm just gonna for shits and giggles, I'm gonna say the first story is true, and the second story, the gist of it, the fighting in the shower and biting the guy's face off, is not true.
And you think the jail story is?
True.
You think the jail story is true?
Yeah.
What about you, Dylan?
Hey, you bring up some good points.
I want you.
Just sitting back and taking this all in.
Yeah, you know what I didn't believe too? The gentle touch of the balls. You would, if some dude fucking grabbed your balls, you would remember
going in for
every
the kill.
pressure point of. But you shouldn't listen to what I'm saying because I'm always not right.
No,
when I start arguing like that, it's bullshit. So I'm letting you know that.
Okay, my gut was the first one's not a true story, so I'm going to go with my gut.
Okay, and Austin?
I'm saying the first one is a true story.
Oh, we're on the same page.
Because he's so personable that I could meet somebody on a plane, and I think that they would definitely invite me back to their shag pad. And it wasn't even like immediately that y'all went on the retreat, right? Like it was like there was
No, I mean, like
y'all met, and then down the road she was like, "Do you want to come?"
Well, yeah, we talked. We got to be like I said, the first hour we didn't even talk.
Yeah.
And then we start talking, and then
And he did say he put her number on that business card that was a friend of yours, and then when he passed, you had seen the number there on the thing.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a lie.
Eddie
That's a
called.
lie. That's a lie.
All right. So which one is the lie?
Jerry Garcia's wife. Now, can I tell you this? I did meet her, and we did get friends. And she was going to go on a mushroom retreat.
But she didn't invite you.
I couldn't fucking go. I was married.
Oh, I thought you said it was before you were married.
I don't know.
Well, that's part of the lie.
Right. I hope Joe Rogan kicks your ass. Wow.
No, but I did have it on the card, and my friend did pass me. He was 50. Her number, I think it was Carolina. She's very sweet. And we were related to the kids stuff, the farm stuff, and this idea. And then I did talk to Wavy Gravy. I just didn't go on the Russian. No, I did. I remember him like his name went from the 60s and shit.
Yeah.
Because he dealt with kids, but I didn't do it. So I didn't know if you could, if the whole story would need to be a lie or.
That's perfect.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
Perfect.
yeah. As long as the crux of the story, part of the crux of the story is the lie, then you played it correctly.
Yeah, you
Right,
did.
yeah, because
Great job.
And to take someone, why would it take someone else's story? Yeah, fucking just, right?
Yeah,
Some people do, though. I mean, it works, but that was perfect.
That was great what you did.
Yeah.
So,
That was fun.
That was great, you guys. We had a great game. Thank you very much. Where can people follow you guys or find out about what you
I'm
have
not
at
really
Shaken?
crazy about people following me, anyways. to
Okay,
be
all
honest with
right.
you.
Where can they look to where you might be
Bob?
performing?
Oh, I'm working in Minot, North Dakota. It's the only state I've never worked in. I'm working in Minot, North Dakota.
It's an air base there.
My apologies beforehand.
Hey, I'm a big draw there, you know.
But
then, no,
breathes is a big draw in mine, North Dakota. But please do go to your show if you're in North Dakota.
No, but Bob, just go to bobgolub.com, BOBGOLUB.com, and we have clips there from stand-up, and I got a film out, by the way.
Yeah, talk about that.
Yeah, I had a film about a stand-up comic serial killer I'd done about 6 years ago, and you might be watching a thing on HBO called Barry. Anyways, so my film got released, and we brought it back, and we shot it on zero budget. I just had an idea, and we just got the cameras, went out, and we shot.
Where can people find it?
Well, it's good. We're relaunching it. I brought it back. I was able to get it back from the distributor, which is rare, right?
So where can people find it?
They will find it. Go to bobgolub.com, and then you'll fucking know when it's coming out.
Okay, there you go. What about you?
I think it's about. I don't know. We're gonna
Do
it's coming
that,
back
do
out
that,
again.
do
I just
that.
don't want to win.
Okay, all right. I'm just trying to help you out, brother. That's
No,
all
I'm
that's
just
going on
saying,
here. And what about you, Dylan?
I got an Instagram.
And what is the name of your Instagram?
Instagram is Dylan Raysull, DYLANRAYSULL. Yeah, that's most of my stuff. Sometimes I open shows here at the Comedy Store. If you want to see me for 5 minutes, come down to the Comedy Store.
And by the way, congratulations on
thank you
being
very
part of
much.
the Comedy Store family.
Absolutely.
That's
Yeah,
really
great.
It's
wonderful.
fun. Thank you guys so
Yeah,
much for having me.
Yeah,
This
you're
is
very,
the
very
first
welcome.
Comedy Store in
Podcast.
Yeah.
You're a nice guy, man.
Congratulations.
You seem like a good guy.
Can't lie for
Hell of
fun,
a
but
stripper,
you're
too.
Hell of a stripper.
And Austin, what about you?
I'm at the Austin Walker on everything, and please follow our social media. Our Twitter is @liars_club. Interact with us on there during the show and not during the show. And we also post Jessica and Felicia's dates up on there.
Yeah.
And on our Instagram, the Liars Club 1. Check us out on there. Post lots of cool stuff, cartoons, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, we have a live
Yes.
show coming up too on the 10th, May 10th at the Ice House.
Yep.
Yes, and which we just booked the lovely Erica Rhodes, very funny lady, wonderful joke writer. We have our engineer, Brett Erickson, is going to be on that show at the Ice House on May 10th. We are now calling him Pop Pop, but you can catch him. He's a great guy and wonderful comic, and you can catch him at I Brett My Pants on Twitter and Instagram.
Is that
so
real?
give him a follow. I've been Felicia Michaels.
Wait, there's another kid in there from
Todd Walker.
Todd Walker.
Todd Walker.
Yeah.
We've
Todd
had him on
Walker.
before, too.
Yeah, Todd's awesome.
Okay,
Todd's
no,
awesome.
the guy that had from Temple. He had a Temple shirt.
Yeah, that's Todd Walker.
That's
Okay.
Todd Walker.
No relation.
And I would like to say the last thing is I have a documentary about comedy that is on Vimeo on demand. Please do me a big favor. If you like Felipe Esparza, Joey Diaz, Lori Kilmartin, Jimmy Pardo, any of those people, plus 20 other comics, it's a documentary about
Is
comedy.
Joe Rogan on it?
Joe Rogan is not on it. But I... Fuck you, Bob. I'm doing my pitch. I set you up for your movie.
He will be
if
at the.
if you're in Minot, North Dakota, and you go to see Bob, we encourage you to tap him on the balls.
Gently. But you can find it on Vimeo on demand. It's called Pervs, and I directed and produced it, and it's starring a lovely comedian named Susanna Lee, besides all those other comics. Please give that a listen or a watch. And what about you, Jessica? I'm Felicia Michaels all across the board, by the way.
You can follow me at Jess Wellington 2 on everything. Just check us out. Give us some rates and reviews, you guys. Subscribe to our YouTube. That's my big thing, please.
Yes, we're trying to. Jessica is in a battle of trying to get more YouTube subscribers
Than Brian in Sacramento, right? Okay, if we can we got to be able to outdo Sacramento. Anyway, follow us, please do that. And you guys have been lied to.